Hey everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing my first prom makeup tutorial of the year, and I want to do lots of different prom makeup tutorials this year. So today I thought I would start by doing something really easy and natural for those of you who don't really wear that much makeup or are not really that comfortable with using makeup but you want to wear a little bit for your prom this year. So I've tried to use as little products as possible and made it really easy so you can follow along with me as well. Plus I've only used drugstore products again today, so it's really affordable too. So I really hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you do down in the comments below, and please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe, and if you want to see how we got this easy drugstore makeup then keep watching. I have roughly gone over my brows already. I've used the NYX micro brow pencil today in the shade Chocolate, and I couldn't decide whether to do eyes or face first today, but I think I'm going to do eyes first, even though they're not going to be too heavy, just in case I do get any fallout. But I am going to do my primer first, just to give that chance to soak in and everything. You don't have to use a primer, I don't always use one, but if I am going on a night out, and if you're going to prom, you're going to be dancing, it's going to be hot, you want your makeup to be nice and long wearing. First I'm going to use this, even though I'm not a huge fan of this primer, I'm just going to use it in the centre of my face. This is the Infallible Mattifying base. And I don't really want this to be super matte, so I'm just going to use a tiny bit where I would usually get more oily. So just down the sides of my nose, I'm only using a really small amount. And a little bit on my chin as well. And then for the rest of the skin, I'm going to use this Tiny Burr Face Illuminator. I really love this because it gives such a nice glow to the skin, but it's not too overpowering and it sits really nice under foundation as well. I do actually use this just on its own. It looks really nice, especially if you're not wearing any makeup. I'm going to use a brush to apply this because I feel like it works best with a brush. So I just tap it all over my face. You could just use this in sort of your highlighty areas if you have got more oily skin. You don't want to put this all over, but I have more dry skin, so I really need to feel the glow. So I just dot it everywhere like that, and then I just use this little brush from Makeup Revolution and just filling that all over. So now I've got that nice dewy base that can sit there and settle in and everything while we do our eyes. So I'm going to prime first. I'm going to just use the concealer that I'm going to be using on the rest of my face. This is the Complexion Lasting Perfection Concealer in Medium Cool, and I know I use this all the time, but honestly I don't think there is a better drugstore concealer than this one. And then just use your beauty sponge to blend that out. Don't be too worried about going up towards your brow because you can neaten those up after we've done the foundation and everything. And just to set this in place, I'm just tapping over some translucent powder, and I would recommend setting this before you try and go in with your eyeshadow because you will find it blends a lot easier if you've set it first. So starting with eyes, because we're going for more of a natural and really easy prom makeup today, I'm just going to be using browns and golds because I feel like anybody can wear them and they're so easy to work with as well. So to start, I'm going to be taking the bronzer that I'm using today, and using your bronzer is a really good trick if you don't have that many eyeshadows because they always work really nice in the crease as well, especially if you're using the same shade on your cheeks too. So I'm just going to take my bronzer on a fluffy brush. This is the Rimmel Natural Bronzer in the shade Sun Bronze, and it's matte as well. I do try to avoid using shimmery shades in the crease because I don't really think they work that well, so I do try and use mattes first. So I'm just going to apply this into the crease, and this is just going to add some nice definition. You can bring it onto the outer lid as well if you want, but it really is just that easy of just sweeping it backwards and forwards into the crease, just building it up as you go along. And if you do feel like you have blended it up a little bit too far, just take a clean brush and just buff over the edge like that, and that'll soon bring it down. So that's the first step, and that was super easy. I'm going to move on to an eyeshadow palette now. I did go shopping and look for drugstore eyeshadow palettes, but to be honest I wasn't really that impressed. So I've just had a look at the ones that I've already got, and I picked out this one. This is the Rimmel Magnifeyes eye palette in Keep Calm and Wear Gold. I've used this a few times and I really liked it, plus it's all just browns and golds. So this is what I'm going to use today. I'm not actually going to use too many shades out of this, to be honest. So I think with this tutorial you could actually get away with just using bronzer and highlighter as your eyeshadows You don't have to go out and buy specific palettes or anything like that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this darker brown on a smaller brush, and I'm just going to pick this up and I'm going to put this on the outer part of my lid here and take a little bit into the crease as well. I couldn't find in the drugstore any palettes which I actually really liked, and the ones that I had seen on the internet and wanted to go and pick up, they were all out of stock, so I just thought I would just use what I'd already got in my collection already. I'm quite fussy when it comes to eyeshadows. And then I'm taking the brush that we used with the bronzer and then just sweeping that into the crease just to make sure it's nice and blended. And then very finally, I'm just going to take this end brown here. It is a little bit shimmery, so I think I'm just going to keep this just on the outer part of the lid again. And then for one last time, you can just quickly go in with your bronzer again and just make sure it looks really soft. And then for the inner part of the lid, we want that to be really bright and pop. So I found this really nice gold shadow. This is from number 7 and it's in the shade True Gold. So this is a bit of an unnecessary step. I'm just going to apply a little bit of concealer where I'm going to apply the gold just to make it pop a little bit more. But of course, you absolutely do not have to do this. Just taking a really small brush, I'm just going to put it everywhere, which I will be applying the gold. And then I'm taking a flat brush and I'm just going to spray this with a bit of our setting spray, and this will also just make it stand out a little bit more. Taking a flat brush and we're going to pat on where we want the gold. And I'm only coming in about halfway until we meet that darker shadow on the outer corner. And I'm also not blending up too far either into the crease. Then if you did want it to stand out a little bit more, I think that using your finger is best. So I just take some on my finger and just press it on. So we want to try and blend those two colours on the lid together a little bit because we don't want it looking too harsh. So I'm just going to take that shade again, just going to wiggle it over where those two meet. And it's always useful to just look straight ahead and just make sure that the gold sort of ends in the same place on both eyes, so you're not going too far over on one eye than the other, because then it's quite noticeable when it looks quite uneven. Then for eyeliner, I'm not going to be doing winged eyeliner or anything today. I want to keep this really as easy as possible, so all I'm going to do is take my gel liner. You can take a pencil or a liquid eyeliner, or you don't have to do this at all. But I'm just going to line my actual lash line because I am going to be applying some false lashes and it just helps them blend in a little bit better. So if you're not comfortable with gel or liquid, then use a pencil, or just don't do it at all if you feel like it's going to ruin your makeup. But I decided not to do a wing because not everybody is comfortable with doing winged liner, so I think doing this will be just as effective. And before mascara, I always like to curl my lashes, so I'm just going to give them a quick curl. For mascara, I'm going to use the Scandaleyes Reloaded from Rimmel, only because I use dramatic definition all the time, so I wanted to switch it up a little bit. So I'm just going to quickly apply some lashes now. I chose to use these ones. Preferably I would have gone with the Ardell Demi Wispies, but I don't actually have any, which I'm a little bit gutted because they are my favourite because they're just really natural and I think they suit everybody, to be honest. So I've gone with these instead. These are the Eylure Volume number 100. I've just got a 3-pack pair, but obviously I'm only going to be wearing one. And these do still look really nice and wispy, so let's try these on. So I've just applied those lashes and I absolutely love them. These are like the perfect prom lashes. They look so nice. Obviously if you don't want to wear lashes, you don't have to wear them, but if you do want to wear them as a one-off for prom, then I have got a eyelash tutorial on how to apply them and make them fit and everything like that, so I'll leave that down in the description box for you just because it might help you out a little bit. Yeah, I think these look so pretty. All I'm going to do now is just go over the little band with a liquid eyeliner pen just so it doesn't look wide, because sometimes when you close your eyes you can see the actual band. So all I'm doing is literally just colouring over the top. We can move straight on to the skin now, so I'm just going to take a little wipe and just like this on the under eyes. It's just going to clean any of the shadow out that's fallen down, and it also gives you a chance to sharpen this edge. So you're going to go up towards the brow. For foundations, I'm going to use 2 foundations. Obviously this is completely unnecessary, but I love this combination since I saw Holly Boone use it quite a lot, and I have been using it since and really like it. So I'm going to use the Total Cover from L'Oreal and then a bit of True Match because I don't like how matte this is on its own. And then I just tap this all over, mainly to the areas where I want the most coverage. So that's definitely on my cheeks and my chin because I do get quite red there. And do the same with this. And then start buffing that in. And I'm using the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge today, which I do use all the time. I do prefer to use a sponge, especially like for night out makeup, because I do feel like it pushes all the product into your skin, and I think it does give a more flawless finish. And I always tap it over my ears as well, just in case this foundation is a little bit darker for me. And blend it down the neck as well. So moving on to concealer, I'm going to use the same one that we primed the eyes with. And I don't know what it is with this concealer, but the old one that I've got is the old packaging, and I picked up a new one and it's different packaging. But every time I take it out and then put it back in, it like squirts out loads of product and it's so messy, it's disgusting. So I don't really know what's happening with it, but it is my favourite concealer ever, so even if the packaging is messy, I'm still going to use it. And then to set all that in place, I'm just going to use this pressed powder from Rimmel. I feel like I'm using a lot of Rimmel products today, but that's just what I've got in my collection. So instead of rubbing it on, I'm going to pat it in because we don't want all the products that we've just applied to be moved out of place. And because the first foundation that I used is quite a matte finish anyway, I won't need to use a hell of a lot of powder. Moving on to bronzing and contouring, I'm going in with the same one that we've used on the eyes, and I'm actually taking this little contour brush from Real Techniques. I was going to do a little bit of cream contouring, but I think for this tutorial it's going to be quite unnecessary because I do want to keep the steps as easy as possible, so absolutely anybody can do this. So I'm just bronzing up the cheeks with this. I'm only using a smaller brush because it is a little bit more precise, but you could use like a big fluffy brush, whatever suits you best. And I'm going to use a little bit of blush. This is the L'Oreal Sandalwood Pink. I don't even know if it comes in this packaging anymore, but I've had this for so long and I just really like the colour. So I'm going to take it on the same brush and then just apply this to the apples of my cheeks. And I like to blend my blush back up into my bronzer as well. And then just over that I'm going to use a little bit of this. This is the Revlon highlighting palette in Rose Glow. And again, I've had this for so long, but I forget how much I actually really like it. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this onto the cheeks. And I'm also taking this up onto the cheekbones as well. And then for my highlight, I'm going to use this Essence palette. And I'm going to take this end shade here, right here for a nice glow. Take it into the temples as well. A bit on my nose. I'm just going to quickly go over my brows again and make sure they're okay. And then we can finish off the eyes and apply lips. So I'll be back in one sec. So for the under eyes, again, I want to keep it really easy and simple. So I'm just going to take a little pencil brush and go in with that shade right there that we used out of the palette. I'm just going to take this along my lower lash line. You could just use a eyeliner pencil if you wanted to, but I am quite lazy and I just think this is a little bit easier and softer as well. I'm also going to mix together that light bronze shade and this more browny bronze shade together. And just do the same with this as well. That looks really, really nice. Then you can choose to line the waterline if you want to. You can leave it bare. You can use a black or a brown liner. I'm actually going to use a nude one because this is more of a softer look and this will just make your eyes look really wide and bright. So I'm just going to line my waterline with this quickly. And then I'm just taking the flat brush that we used to apply that gold shadow and I'm going to do some highlighting. So I'm going to take the same highlighter. I'm just going to put this under my brow bone a little bit, just on this outer edge. Then also into the inner corner. I'm using Dramatic Definition from Revlon because I don't like that mascara that I've just used on my bottom lashes. And then finally for lips, this sort of makeup look is going to go with any single lip that you want. So it'll go with red, it'll go with pink, purple, green, blue, whatever colour you want on your lips for prom. This will go with anything. I'm going to go with a pinky nude because I think that's the sort of colour that I would wear if I was wearing this look. So I'm going to use Salute from Rimmel. And then because it's prom, I'm just going to apply a little bit of gloss over the top. I'm not sure what shade this is, but it's a Rimmel Apocalypse, and I'll leave it if I can find it down in the description. So that completes this easy prom makeup, guys. I really hope you liked it and picked up a little bit of inspiration. Let me know if you did down in the comments below, and don't forget to give it a big thumbs up as well and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!